says he'd take less money or a 1-year deal to stay at JGR. Spot
God,
on.
I got to go to the bathroom again.
What have you been drinking?
Spot on, spot off. TJ, I'll throw this one to you.
This is getting more interesting by the week. I mean, we keep talking about it, and we just keep getting more clues. Every week that goes by, it seems like someone's going to get a bargain on Kyle at some point. So, I'm here for the drama, but spot on, I guess. I mean, Kyle's going to go somewhere. That's my guess. So
good guess. I mean, that's
I would
going out on a
say
limb.
so.
I mean, you're
here.
way out there, but that's a good guess.
The more time that goes on, the more that it looks like that he's not going back to JGR.
Denny, I'll put it in a different way.
Can we go? Can I be last on this one? I want to be last.
Here's where I'm at on this
fine.
thing. I'm spot off for the fact, and I would love for Denny to speak to the economics of this. I'm spot off for the fact that Joe Gibbs Racing, who is renowned in the sport for paying more to get a driver, paying more to get the right tire changer, paying more to get whatever they want, they get it. And they're in a position where a 2-time Cup champion, a guy on top of his game, can't get a sponsor and they have to lose him, right? That's what I'm spot off for, is the model is so tough right now on teams that the sponsorship has to be so big to retain a guy like Kyle. I am spot on for Kyle eating a little bit of humble pie right here because he's been fairly arrogant. I guess what I would love to know is, and we won't ever know this publicly to be able to say it, but I would love to know if he's turned down contracts already this year that he would now be willing to sign.
Yeah, I mean, you see, it seems like a little bit of a backpedal this week. You know, we've heard reports that he was, looking for his market value, and now suddenly he's not for some reason. And you got to think that he's kind of seeing that those offers just aren't there. And I don't know. First of all, before I say anything, you didn't bring him here, right? Like he's good. Like he's not going to walk in, and you're not going to announce
breaking news.
Okay, great. But I mean, there's just not that many teams that really can get. Who's left? I mean, RCR, I guess, could go after him if they really wanted to. But I mean,
Haas.
Stuart Haas, we're hearing those seats are filling pretty fast over there.
Hey, you want to share some rumors?
I mean, we've already talked about Eric going back into 10. I think that's getting pretty close. We've heard some other rumors that I'm not going to share.
Why?
JGR seems pretty steadfast in whatever offer they've made. They're not. I don't think that. I mean, I'm sure they're still ongoing. GMS, they can afford him, but sounds like they've got their seats filled. They just signed Eric Jones to an extension. We kind of hear Gragson's going over there next year. Dale, if anybody's ever seen Dale haggle on eBay, he's not paying Kyle Busch.
Dale Jr. is a tight ass. Anybody who knows him knows that.
Obviously, it's been seen since day one.
I mean, Matt Colleague. I mean, does Matt Colleague want to make a big splash here? I mean, I don't. There's rumors that they haven't had any talks, but that might be changing. So, I don't know. I just don't know where else he goes. And I mean, I seen one thing where he's like, "Oh, I might run a Kyle Larson schedule." He ain't going to run. He's not taking a year off to go run dirt cars somewhere.
I mean, he's already started with the micro.
Yeah, exactly. He's not taking a year off.
Those planes are expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. So those houses. But yeah, so I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he ends up.
What is fair market value? We can argue this till the cows go home.
What do I think Kyle Busch is worth fair market value? What do I think?
All right, how do you equate a driver's fair market value in today's world?
Do I have to say he has a big sponsor or it doesn't matter?
That he's bringing a sponsor?
Okay, no sponsorship.
No sponsorship. Fair market value for Kyle Busch today is between $5 and $6 million.
Okay.
Do you think I'm way off?
No, sir.
Thank you.
No, sir. I do not. Simply because think about it from the team's economical standpoint. Your team gets paid what you win on the racetrack and what your historical value is plus the fixed fee. The difference between first and last is about $6 million. So that means if I had the worst driver in the field to finish dead last every week, I'm going to get paid X. Yep. And if I have the best driver that wins every race in the championship and it's number one ranked charter, I get paid Y. And the difference between that is only $6 million. So that essentially is what you would consider what you should pay the best. Now, you can add sponsorship to that. So now let's just say you have $10 million in sponsorship. Well, if that sponsorship is linked to the driver, then a driver deserves part of that deal, right? What is the proper percentage? Is it 20%, 30%, 40%? What is it, right? Add that to the delta that you're talking about. That probably is fair market value.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's a shame that he's not going to get that. But it sure looks like he's not going to get it.
Listen, we have been very fortunate to be in the sport. I thank my lucky stars every day that I came in when I did, because it was after the Hans device was brought into the sport. The safety was such a big factor, and the money was really, really big.
Really big.
And so, we lived in a world where, sponsorships were paying, tens of millions. I thought, we've seen documented on Twitter about, the M&M's deal, or it was there close to it. When you think about what the height of driver salaries were, I mean, go back in Forbes and for the last 5 years, and they nail it pretty good. They pretty much got it. I don't know whether they're getting our tax returns or what they're getting, but I mean, they nail it. So it's unfortunately, we're just the teams aren't getting those type of sponsorship dollars anymore, and performance on the track, it's just part of the equation that equals fair market value. And so, I think that Kyle has seen that there's a shift, and he has to take some concessions.
And it sucks to have to do that.
It stinks. I wish this wasn't the case. I mean, certainly, if the I think that I saw the thing with LeBron. I'm not saying Kyle's LeBron by any means, but if the Lakers lose a sponsor, they still sign LeBron. It doesn't matter about that. That's the only difference in their model and our model, is that when you make a sponsorship dependent, then these type of things happen, and you have a risk of you're one of the most popular and polarizing drivers not racing in 2023. That's a possibility.
Which just got repeated. Basically, it's getting repeated. It just happened to Matt Kenseth with the same team years ago.
That's right.
Too expensive to bring it back. So part of the economics.
Well, I'm curious to see if this next topic has anything to do with what the future looks like. Spot on, spot off. NASCAR president Steve Phelps says that the sanctioning body is preparing to offer teams a fair relationship with the split of media right dollars for the next TV deal.
Damn, you're gonna be rich.
Brett, spot on, spot off.
I mean, I'm spot on if this happens. I think that this is a long time coming. I think that racetracks are hogging a lot of money that they're not reinvesting into the sport. And if they were getting, X amount of dollars, like Denny said, and they're putting 30% of that back into facilities, and every time our race fans walk into a facility, it's as clean and pretty and pristine as Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I'm going to be all for that. I want to see investment into the sport, and I don't know that I see a lot of racetracks doing that. Yes, Daytona spent $400 million. Guess what? The Daytona 500 is freaking sold out. Phoenix went in there and spent over $100 million. Guess what? That place is sold out. People don't want to go to trashy facilities anymore. We can't look like a Saturday night track when we're charging $150 to come to a race on Sunday. So when I look at the model, I know what the tracks are getting. I know what NASCAR's getting. I know what the teams are splitting, right? That number needs to be higher if our track's going to get better, because at the end of the day, they're still coming to these racetracks to watch the drivers race. I was blown away on Saturday morning that this facility, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, had 400,000 people there to watch the IndyCar race for the Indy 500. And the exact same drivers came back on Saturday morning, and guess what wasn't there? 400,000 people. There were a lot of people there, but there wasn't it was the exact same people. So it's about the experience. It's about all the things of the cultures. And I want to see, Jeff Burton said exactly where Denny's sitting, and he said, I want to see the owners get filthy rich owning race cars in this sport. I am of the same belief, because guess why? Spotters are going to get paid more. Shop guys are going to get paid more. Yep. Truck drivers are going to get paid more. We're all going to make more money, and the money is there. It's just not funneling to the teams.
I think that this is just directly related to what we were just talking about with Kyle. This Kyle's not having these contract negotiations if Joe Gibbs is making 5 times the amount of money he's off the TV deal, because now he's not dependent on M&M's or whoever to find a sponsor. He can just take that money and give it to Kyle. Or we're not dependent on, we see a lot, everybody complains about it on Twitter and Reddit that, this guy just bought his ride, this guy. You'll see less of that. You'll see more talented guys get opportunities because the drivers won't be the owners won't be so reliant on sponsorship money. So I think this just proves that point there.
It's time for you to sell your home and make that big move. Let our friends at OfferPad remove all the worry and hassle. Get started today at OfferPad.com.